welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Right now, we're going to talk about NXT from April the 9th, 2023. Fun show. I liked NXT this week. They set up a lot. They got some stuff moving forward. I'm always down for that. There was some surprises. There was a debut. And there's a lot going on. So let's get into NXT. So Roxanne Perez starts the show cutting a very bad promo. She still needs more work talking. My God, she needs work talking. But that's what she's in NXT for. The long and the short of it is that she's never going to lose this championship again. And so you better enjoy seeing her now because she's off to Raw or SmackDown. She's going to take the belt with her. Lyra Valkyria starts coming out there. Immediately, the audience started chanting at her, "You tapped out." Now, the audience chants was pretty fun. When they were chanting at Roxanne Perez, they were chanting, "You deserve it." And she said, "I could have used that a year ago," which was probably the best thing she's ever done with the microphone. On this situation, Lyra Valkyria is getting "You tapped out" chants, and she's trying to push forward through it without responding to it at all. Then she starts saying that Roxanne Perez thinks she's too good for NXT. She said, "You can leave, but the title needs to stay, and it's going to stay with me." And she wants a rematch tonight. Roxanne Perez knows that Lyra Valkyria is not medically cleared. Lyra says, "Nah, I'll go through it. I'll do it anyway." And then Tatum Paxley emerges from the audience and accepts the championship match on Lyra Valkyria's behalf. She plans to wrestle the match. Lyra Valkyria says, "Oh no, thank you so much for trying to, having my back. And, sorry if I snapped at you before, but I got this. I can handle this." And Tatum Paxley like, "Oh, you got this?" And she was like, "Yeah, I got this." And she grabs Lyra Valkyria and throws her shoulder first into the steps. Lyra Valkyria is, of course, shocked as Tatum Paxley is screaming at her that it doesn't belong to you anymore. So this was crazy. Like, this was good. They did all this build up for Tatum Paxley being obsessed with Lyra Valkyria, of course, with her being a champion. And now she's turned on Lyra, and there was no reason given. They never went back to this, but it's pretty obvious why. It's because Lyra tapped out. She gave up. She's not the champion anymore. She's no longer Tatum Paxley's hero. She gave up. And this is going to be an interesting storyline. I look forward to this. This is going to be interesting. So Tatum Paxley is carried out because she's a psycho. So they got rid of her. Lyra Valkyria, she was already injured. She was injured before the match at Stand and Deliver. So now she's really down bad. So she's out of here. And Roxanne Perez was like, "Okay, I'm out of here. There's no title match tonight." And then here comes Natalya. Natalya challenges Roxanne Perez. She says no, but Ava says yes. So later in the night, Natalya wrestles Roxanne Perez for the women's championship. Lola Vice, who has been feuding with Natalya, comes out, kicks Natalya in the back of the leg, leading to Natalya losing. And they end up brawling later on as Lola Vice was talking about the women's North American title and how she's looking forward to winning it. So they're going to continue the Lola Vice Natalya story. Okay. Whatever. They teased this on Raw, so they kind of had to deliver it, but I'm floored by this whole thing here. I could do without Natalya. You know that. I like Tig Old Biddies, but I don't like Natalya. So can we leave the titties and you take the rest of her away? That sounds very illegal, but whatever. Nathan Fraser and Axiom, they're backstage. Apparently, they badgered Ava to get a rematch for the NXT Tag Team titles. And the stipulation is if they lose, they can never challenge for these titles again, which they have interpreted as they have to break up if they lose. Because if they can't be the champions, why be partners? Which is very logical. If I can't be the champion, why the hell would I want to be your partner? I'm going to hang around with you for. Later in the night, they actually complete the mission. Nathan Fraser and Axiom defeated Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin when Nathan Frazer hits the Phoenix Splash on Baron Corbin. There was some miscommunication between Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, where Braun Breaker was about to spear Baron Corbin. He stopped himself just in time, but he went to check on his good friend, and he got kicked in the back of the head, fell outside of the ring. There was some really quick stuff happened. They put Baron Corbin on the ground for the Phoenix Splash, and Axiom and Nathan Frazer win. They're the champions for approximately 20 seconds before strange music starts to play. And it's the final testament. It's Karrion Kross. It's Authors of Pain. And they come to the ring and they just start kicking ass. They beat the hell out of Nathan Frazer and Axiom and leave them laying in the middle of the ring. Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain are back in NXT. I like it. All right. I like it. They should win these belts because these small men should not be the champions. But it's necessary because, I mean, Nathan Frazer has been on this roster for a while. I know he was highly touted when they brought him in. Much like Dragon Lee, he was somebody they expected a lot out of, but he is brought on NXT UK, and they never really put the effort in on him. They never gave him a character. He's just always kind of been random guy who runs fast, and that's still his gimmick. So I would like for him to do something else, other than be random guy who runs very fast. But AOP rule, and I think if they win, and then you put Frazer and Axiom back in the chase, they could actually do more because they can be fighting from underneath, and AOP are even bigger than Braun and Baron Corbin, so that can actually be useful. But new tag team champions. Braun Breaker just had to get free. He had to get out of there, okay? So I'm not even complaining. He just had to get off of this brand. And I think it was a slick deal by saying that they couldn't defend the titles against Axiom and Nathan Frazer anymore if they won, as a way of getting the belts off of them, because you get to pop the rating one more time. So that was fine for me. Chase University had a backstage segment where JC Jane crashed an honorary degree ceremony where Andre Chase was giving Kelani Jordan and Fallon Henley honorary degrees for helping Thea Hale. JC Jane then broke the big news to why she ended up having to save Chase University in the first place. And it's because Andre Chase put a big bet on Thea Hale to win the women's championship against Tiffany Stratton, only to throw in the towel and cost himself a ton of money. And he admitted this and said that it's true. He cared more about Thea than he cared about the school. And Thea got very upset and she left because JC Jane knew that and she didn't. And Booker T is on commentary and said that Andre Chase is worse than Pete Rose. He said he's worse than Pete Rose, which is great. But the storyline, look, so in dribs and drabs over the last couple of months, they've been telling you that Andre Chase, he went broke. Nobody understood why. Then we found out that he was placing bets. All right, so he was like placing bets on what? And then we figured out he's been placing bets on Thea Hale's matches, or at least this one match, that Thea was going to win the title. He then found himself in a situation where Thea was in over her head and was going to be injured, and he would rather save Thea Hale than save the school. So he threw in the towel, what cost himself not only his mentee, who got pissed at him and was going through her rebellious stage, and where she started wearing fishnets and dark eyeliner for about, 4 or 5 months. And he ended up almost losing the school, So this thing is deep. They're going deep with this. I'm kind of not sure why Thea is upset. I kind of have an idea why she's upset, but I'm also not really have an idea why she's so upset. All right, the first match on the show, Izzy Dame and Kiana James defeated Fallon Henley and Kelani Jordan. Kalani Jordan is quite good. She just needs a character. Man, she's doing good in terms of physicality and athleticism, but she needs a gimmick. Izzy Dame, she looks tight. She got something going on here. And Kiana James has always been good, and so has Fallon Henley. They showed the video package for Javon Evans again, and then we saw OTM hating on him because Scripps is going to wrestle Javon Evans. Now, this is the first time I ever watched a complete Javon Evans match. I've seen clips online. He reminds me a lot of Wes Lee from MSK, just darker and younger. So, very athletic young guy, completely bland, with no personality whatsoever. He describes his style as bouncy, which I don't ever want to call a grown man bouncy. And I know he's only 19, but geez, come on. Scripps, I forgot how agile he was. I think he did like a moonsault, landed on his feet and rolled and all this kind of stuff. I was like, oh my goodness. But I forgot he's the Cirque du Soleil guy. Like he's been there for a minute too, but it is what it is. OTM, boy, they just can't get right. Well, the men can't. They can't seem to fix it. Backstage, the no quarter, whatever, Charlie Dempsey's group, because Drew Gulak was not among them. So Gulak has been pulled from NXT. I think it's pretty obvious at this point. But Charlie Dempsey was talking about his Bloodsport experience, about the shiner that he got while working there. And he ended up getting into an argument with Tony D'Angelo and his crew. And they ended up having a match. And as usual, the no quarter guys, they picked two random guys to wrestle them. And so it's Luca Crisafino and Stacks of the Family versus Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp of the no quarter guys. And Stacks and Luca Crisafino won the match. I don't know where this is going. I think the no quarter guys are about to break up because this was Drew Gulak's group. And now Gulak is not a part of it anymore. So either Charlie Dempsey is about to be the face of this group now and take it over, or they're going to end up disbanding this thing. And it looks like it might end up being the latter rather than the former. But Dempsey, as the Heritage Cup champion, needs to be on his own anyway. I don't know what you do with the other two guys, but Dempsey needs to be by himself. That's all I can tell you. You need to put some pressure on this kid to get better in terms of personality and stuff pretty quickly, because he's got something in the ring. And he's bigger than Pete Dunne, but he can do all the same stuff Pete Dunne can do. All right, Ridge Holland, apparently he hit Joe Gacy with a steel chair. He said he had to apologize to him. Gacy walked up to him, started rambling about something or other, and Ridge Holland walked away. He then ran into the LWO, where they don't believe his apology tour. He tried to get away. He ends up smashing Cruz del Toro's hand. And basically they're doing a gimmick where it's all just a series of unfortunate events where everywhere he goes, he hurts people. So I don't know why this is his character. I have no idea why he's doing this. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I would rather they just go full born. He's doing this stuff on purpose rather than, he's the most dangerous guy walking around, rather than he's a big bumbling oaf where he just, he wakes up in the morning and crushes his alarm clock, and he gets into the shower and rips the damn hose off the wall and all this kind of stuff. It's very Looney Tunes. All right, so Obafemi, he is in the ring, says 17,000 people witnessed his power, and he's the ruler of this division. He is interrupted by Ivar of the Viking Raiders, who comes out and he looks like a trucker. Like he just, he came around looking for beef jerky. He's not in Viking gear at all. So is he not a Viking anymore? Are we moving away from the Viking element? We're going to go with a bum-ass trucker now? I don't know. In any event, Ivar said he watched the match at Stand and Deliver, and he loved seeing that kind of chaos, and that's the kind of fight that he wants, and he always wanted to be part of that kind of fight, and he knows that he's the guy who can take the North American Championship. Obafemi's eyes got pretty big. He also laughed at this guy because he's a jabroni. And then they got into a fight in which Ivar bumped Obafemi and knocked him down. And so Obafemi versus Ivar, he can learn something from Ivar. Ivar has a lot of experience. I don't expect Ivar to win that match. He better not win that match. He better not get anywhere near that match. I don't like that idea. But for a one-off, okay, fine. I don't care. The Metaphor, they're backstage. They get into it with Dijak. We can skip this. Who cares about Dijak? Jada Parker. Russell Brindley Reese. Oh, my God. They're chanting Miss Parker in the crowd. Now, it was faint, but I heard it. There was one bump where I think she took a clothesline or something and she fell right on her booty. And I was like, I know that bump didn't hurt at all. She probably didn't even feel that. You know, it was just jiggly, like all in the thighs and everything. It's crazy. The girl just makes me, she make me so immature. For this, God damn. Jada Parker won. You know, of course she did. She should always win. She won everything. She won my heart. Ariana Grace is still backstage talking about Georgina, but we still have not seen Georgina. She was talking about being the best kept secret of WrestleMania weekend. She's being very verbose, and Sol Ruka does not care. You know, or Ebony Queen Sol Ruka, I'm sorry. She's sitting there and she's got one of those bull nose rings. I hate those things. I hate those nose rings. I hate them so much. Ugh. Anyway, Sol Ruka, after Ariana Grace makes her exit, she gets into it with Lola Vice. So it seems like they're foreshadowing Lola Vice and Sol Ruka as the finals of the North American title tournament for the women. And they kind of foreshadowed that tonight. So that ought to be interesting. All right, so the main storyline of the night is Trick Williams coming out. He's refocused, and now he's going to go after the NXT Championship again. He says that if he wants to be the man in NXT, he got to slay that Mad Dragon. He called Dragunov out. Dragunov says that he's very proud of the performer that Trick Williams has become, that Trick Williams has undeniable charisma, but he's not going to give him a title match. Said he already lost. It's time to give it a chance to somebody else who hasn't had an opportunity yet. So Trick Williams said, what do I got to do? Who do I got to beat? I'm willing to do anything. So Ilya Dragunov says, okay, I'll fight you in 2 weeks at Spring Breaking. But if you win, you win the championship. But if I win, you have to leave NXT. Trick Williams says if he can't win, he doesn't deserve to be in NXT, and he agrees. Clearly, they're setting up the story for Dragunov to leave. I think him being on Raw was a dead giveaway that Dragunov is on his way out. And so Trick Williams is about to be elevated. So Dragunov and Williams, they shake hands. And then Carmelo Hayes assaults Trick Williams from behind. He beats him up and then says that he's going to beat his ass in a steel cage next week. I don't know when the last time I was happy about a steel cage match, but I'm very happy about this one. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, steel cage. I love it. It's a great deal. Now, I was very interested when Dragunov said no to Trick Williams on offering him that championship match, because it seemed like they were going to go with, Dragunov might be concerned about Trick Williams due to how close Trick was before. But they decided to go ahead and add that stipulation to it, which pretty much guarantees that Trick Williams is going to win. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. If Trick loses and ends up on Raw or SmackDown, I'm still fine with that, because that's still a win-win situation for me. Either he's in front of a bigger audience and has more of an opportunity to get over, or he's the guy who slays the dragon and Dragunov goes to Raw or SmackDown, and probably Raw, to chase other championships and other performers. So that could be fun. I mean, you could have a lot of fun with like an Ilya Dragunov, Damian Priest World Heavyweight Championship feud. That could be fun. That could be very cool. So NXT was very solid. Yes, they brought in quite a few people who are washouts from Raw and SmackDown. That's what they usually do about this time of year. The Ivar, Karrion Kross, the Viking Raiders, all these guys, people that are been beat to death on the main shows. So I'm fine with it. Just depends on what you do with them. I'm not sure if Cross is going to be a part of this or whether it's just an AOP thing. I'm almost willing to think it's just going to be AOP because they appeared at the tag team championship match and Cross was not on the show anywhere else. But maybe they'll try to steal a Karrion Kross and Braun Breaker match out of this thing. I would be down for that. Also, Karrion Kross could use a short run in NXT in order to rebuild his character work. But I think mostly this is for AOP because they were brought back to the main roster and they haven't been doing much since. So maybe Triple H is not happy with their work. I honestly don't remember whether AOP were the tag team champions in NXT or not. I'm going to go with yes, but I don't remember it. I'm pretty sure that they were. I just don't remember it. Also, Wes Lee, I mentioned him earlier, but he apparently is finally off of, I think his boot is off or whatever leg injury he may have had is finally healed up. I'm not a big fan of Wes Lee. I think that now that you have this Javon Evans kid, you don't even bring him back to NXT. If he can wrestle, you just put him on Raw or SmackDown and call it a day. Don't even bother bringing him back to NXT. Because the two people are so similar. Both young black guys with dreadlocks. One is just younger than the other one and, is darker skinned. Also, there's Julia, the young lady from Japan. Apparently, she's officially signed and will be reporting to NXT when she's done with her engagements in Japan. That ought to be interesting. That ought to be interesting. They really need to get their ducks in a row for this CW thing, which is coming quicker than they think. So they need to get some really good core players that they can build the show around. And not just, oh yeah, we got some layabouts from SmackDown that we're not using, so let's just throw them on NXT. They need to really build a strong talent base. And we need to see more characters. They're bringing in people without characters. The Javon Evans and, Kalani Jordan, excellent athletes. But they need something to talk about. They need a unique way of interacting with people. Kalani Jordan's just been floating from story to story as sort of generic good girl. And it's like, that's nice and everything, but we need to move her forward. We need to actually start getting her in the rotation because she's that good. Same thing with Sol Ruka, our Ebony Queen Sol Ruka, I'm sorry. So I like NXT. It was a fun show. I enjoyed it. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.